5th, 2024 legislative meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Please let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present in the conference room, or in the hearing room here. We have Commissioners Waldrop, French, and Kearns, and joining us virtually, we have Commissioners CUNY and Jordan. That will bring us to, and then just for the record, we received no written comment on any of our action items today, but we do have a number of folks that are signed up here on our open public forum. So those of you that are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, that will bring us to open public forum. We have a number of folks who have signed up ahead of time. So we will start with Becky Dickerhoof. Becky, I think you know the rules. Name, address, and you get 3 minutes.
And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Right.
Last week, I attended the Lands Council Legislative Summit here in Spokane. We were fortunate to have local and state government officials and Governor Jay Inslee address how we can move forward in 2025 on 6 issues, including housing and homelessness. We discussed the various tools we already have, and with legislative direction in 2025, we could add additional tools for our local governments. Currently, Spokane County has the ability to use the amended RCW 82.14.530, which allows a county legislative authority to impose a sales and use tax not to exceed 1/10% of the selling price in the case of a sales tax or value of the article used in case of a use tax, commonly referred to as 1590. When the county commissioners placed a tax levy on the ballot for a new jail, it was estimated that we spend $200 per day or $1,400 per week to house an inmate. That is the average monthly rent of a small apartment in Spokane County. We know we have a housing shortage. We know we do not have enough affordable housing for those making minimum wages on fixed income or escaping domestic violence. Despite that, we continue to enact laws that criminalize those without shelter when they sit in the wrong place, when they lie in the wrong place, when they have no access to sanitary facilities. We, in effect, have criminalized homelessness, and each offense adds another barrier to finding permanent housing. Not providing housing resources and instead opting to increase penal facilities seems to fly in the face of fiscal responsibility and humane treatment of county constituents. County commissioners also have another tool we seldom consider. Our county is plagued by empty, abandoned, or neglected properties. One of the causes of this blight on our neighborhoods is pure greed, land and property speculation. Unused, boarded-up buildings often attract illegal activities. Abandoned buildings often end up damaged by fire or water. Those buildings and vacant lands do not add value to the neighborhood and often require additional public resources, such as fire and safety services. Speculation drives such owners to wait for a high return on what little they have invested in the property at the expense of everyone around them. Governments could use eminent domain to protect the communities and return such properties to the public good. Homes could be repaired or replaced. Property could be enhanced. Neighborhoods could see a positive impact on their own properties. 2 tools, multiple good outcomes. If only we move forward to solve a problem, not sit back and make the problem worse. I urge the county commissioners to enact 1590 in the county instead of ignoring a tool that could be added to our resources to combat homelessness in Spokane. And I forgot to identify myself, Becky Dickerhoof, Spokane City.
Thank you, Becky. All right, next up we have John Hart. John, if you'd come to the microphone and please state your name and address for the record, and then we'll start the timer for 3 minutes.
All righty. My name is John Hart. Our business address is 3519 South Geiger Boulevard. We're coming before you to request consideration and action regarding raised channelization efforts proposed by the City Traffic Engineering Department. If the county approves plans for a proposed 7-Eleven and truck stop at 3411 South Geiger Boulevard. The city is stating that if the county accepts the driveway approaches as proposed by 7-Eleven, this will drive the need for channelization. My wife, daughter, and I own Heartland Coffee at 3519 South Geiger Boulevard, adjoining the proposed 7-Eleven. We have been open for business 2.5 years. If this channelization happens and our business loses its unrestricted left and right turn ingress and egress, creating a right in and right out only access, it will drive our business into bankruptcy and decimate our property value. Our daughter is fully committed to her coffee business. She has invested her savings in 401k developing a positive business for our community and 10 employees. My wife and I also have a huge investment in the land and improvements. We need people in authority to step up and make a fair and reasonable decision. In 2020, during our permitting process, we received unrestricted access for our driveway from the city, county, and state DOT. We're hearing from the county that they only look at the building site and have no jurisdiction over Geiger Boulevard. We're hearing from the city they are only reacting to the county's permitting. It is our understanding that 7-Eleven has rejected any suggested changes to their proposed driveways that would alleviate the need for channelization by city traffic engineering. We are asking all offices and authorities involved to remove the blinders of agency jurisdiction and work together to see all pieces of this 7-Eleven and truck stop project and the detrimental impact the proposed driveways and channelization would have on our local and existing business. We are requesting you maintain our already approved and existing driveway access with full left and right turn in and out ability. We encourage modification to the 7-Eleven's proposed driveway locations to alleviate the city's needs for restricting our access with channelization. We do support growth, but not at the demise of our business that was accepted by city, county, and DOT just 4 years ago. Thank you for hearing our plea and putting our concerns on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Oh, Commissioner French.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So I did have the opportunity to meet with the family right before the meeting here, and also met with Monty Chamberlain. And so we are pursuing, trying to find a compromise that will keep these good folks in business and keep the viability of their property intact as they originally envisioned it when they built the property. It is a situation where the city owns the street and we own the county unincorporated areas on both sides of it and stuff. So we are working to try and find a solution for them to allow them to keep intact and keep economically viable. So I just wanted to thank them for spending time with Monty and me, and we'll work to find a solution. Yeah.
Then we have, is it Lind Peterson? Or Lindy? Okay.
I appreciate it. My name's Lindy Peterson. I'm the owner of Heartland Coffee at 3519. I appreciate it. I think you guys heard my dad, and we spoke with Mr. French earlier today, so I'm actually going to pass on my time because I think you guys have a firm understanding now, especially, and I appreciate those comments after he spoke. So thank you guys very, very much.
Thank you. All right, then we'll invite down Susie Hokinson. Susie's probably one of our most dedicated attendees here.
Probably only the third time I've spoken. I'm Susie Hokinson. I actually live 2 blocks north of Francis, halfway between Country Homes and Division, which is the county. I hope to join the city one of these days because we're all in the county. But I also attended the Expo Lands Council, and it was tremendous. I was out of the house for 12 hours. It started with the tribe youth in regalia, dancing and drumming, and it was wonderful. And I went to the 2.5-hour forum on indigenous issues, and there were 15 state elected officials there. It was really tremendous. But I've also had the opportunity, I went 5 times to Standing Rock, the oil pipeline going through, And I am so aware that I have my wealth because of stolen property. And I love to do whatever I can, which isn't very much at this time, but I am continually consumed with the idea of getting the land acknowledgement into the county meeting. And I would like to read it. This is the one from, yes, this is from the public library. And it's easy. What I like to do is have it rotated between people because you choke up when you read it, when you really take it in. This is Spokane Public Library. All Spokane Public Library buildings sit on the traditional homelands of the 4 bands of the Spokane Tribe of Indians: Upper Band, Middle Band, Lower Band, Chewelah Band. Since time immemorial, the Spokane Tribe of Indians have lived and cared for these grounds, identifying themselves as flesh of the earth. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We show gratitude to the land, river, and peoples who have been fishing, hunting, harvesting, and gathering here for generations. May we learn from one another's stories so that we may nurture the relationship of the people of the Spokane tribe and to all those who share this land. And I know that we have a lot to learn from the indigenous. They have survived what was done, especially in the United States, and they are strong. And we have some great leaders and great youth. So anyway, I hope we will very seriously consider acknowledging our whiteness and the land that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Next up, we have Brendan Ward.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Brandon Ward. I live at 18814 West Burnett, Nine Falls. I'm here to try to spur things into moving forward for the illicit land use adjacent to my property. I've been in here many times talking about it. The Baileys they put up a side obscuring fence, which isn't a remedy for the construction yard or the storage issues. And now they simply bring in materials, pile them over the fence using their backhoe, and then pick them back up when they want to use them, load them on their trucks, and leave. Today they were loading materials in and out of their barn with the bathroom, and they were also loading materials out of their shipping container, which is unpermitted still after 6 years. And they loaded a bunch of tractor parts onto the top of the shipping container with the 4 slip tanks that are up there. So we're up about 12 feet tall. The building materials that have been on site and unused for well over 180 days, and in fact 4 to 5 years, are now 9-10 feet tall, the piles. They're visible from the adjacent properties. There are engines. He's been putting new engines in his commercially marked vehicles in the shop. Those are now stored in front of the shop in full view. The building specifically says on the permit that it is for farm use, storing of tractors, hay, and personal vehicles only. There have been a plethora of semis stored in there for the entirety of the winter, depending on which ones needed repair for what duration of time. Mostly the crane truck has been stored in there, and the red and white truck. I supplied, I think, 324 videos and photos to the new building official a month ago, and I haven't heard anything back. But the Baileys have continued to use the building commercially. They're continuing to use the back of the property for a landfill. There's been 3 more complete and overt dumpings of large volumes of toxic liquids. They brought in a 1950s generator with a giant tank on it. I'm guessing it was 100 gallons. They unloaded it from the truck, tipped it over with the backhoe, emptied it, drug it over in front of their building, and then they took some gravel, poured it over the spill. They keep a pile of gravel right there all the time, and they graded over it. That's how they did it. The day that I had the Department of Ecology contact them finally, I knew that they'd contacted them because they dumped a 55-gallon barrel right in front of me. They dug a trench next to the shipping container. They tipped over a 55-gallon barrel of unknown liquids, dumped it, and then covered it with gravel again. And I called the Department of Ecology, and I said, let me guess, you just talked to them. And he said, yeah, I talked to him this morning at 9 a.m. I said, well, it's 9:21, and I just watched them bury a barrel, contents. So there's 5 investigations by Department of Ecology at this time, 5 open investigations involving land use, but there's nothing from Spokane County. Time's up.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
Mr. Anderson, are you aware of the progress that has been made? I know that this is becoming a legacy issue for both Mr. Ward and the county and stuff, and so where are we at legally with this property owner? And if you can't disclose now, I'd like to be able to have an executive session so we can get some information and find out what can we do to bring an end to this situation.
The last matter that we had an enforcement action on was resolved and closed out in court, and I have not personally seen or heard of new matters since then, though it sounds like there may have been complaints made in the interim.
So would you mind providing me a copy of the complaints you filed with Ecology? And let's see what we can do to try and bring closure to this. I know that it's not only been a nuisance and for you, but it's been a challenge for us to try and get our arms around this with regard to this property owner that just blatantly ignores the law. So let's see what we can take next steps.
Okay, well, that completes our designated time for public comment. So now we will move to our agenda. Is there a motion for item 3?
Mr. Vice Chair, I would like to move that we approve item 3 and all the sub-items from A to Q appearing on today's agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve items 3, including all sub-items. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to item 4A, which is a public hearing item, and we have a presentation from Mr. Amacio.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Kearns, Vice Chair, and good afternoon, Board of County Commissioners and those who are appearing virtually. I have been asked to very shortly brief the Board of County Commissioners on a request to annex approximately 62.58 acres into the boundaries of Fire Protection District Number 13. As the Board of County Commissioners are aware, fire protection districts are authorized to provide fire protection services and medical services in the unincorporated areas of Spokane County. The fire protection districts are created under Title 52 of the laws of the state of Washington. The laws of the state of Washington authorize properties within the unincorporated areas of Spokane County to annex into the boundaries of a fire protection district so they can receive the appropriate fire protection and medical services. There are 2 processes that can be used to annex property into a fire protection district. One is called the election method. The second is called the annexation method. Under the annexation method, a petition is submitted by 60% of the owners of property who desire their properties to be annexed into the boundaries of the fire protection district. Once the fire protection district receives the petition, they determine its validity, then they hold their own public hearing on the application and make a decision. Under the state law, once the fire protection district takes action on an application annex, they send their decision to the county commissioners, and the county commissioners are then required by law to hold a public hearing on the petition and the recommendation of the fire protection district. In the matter in front of you today, Richard F. and Vicki Ann Peblinski filed a petition with Fire Protection District number 13 to have approximately 62.5 acres of property annexed into the boundaries of the Fire Protection District. Upon receipt of the application, the Fire Protection District held a public hearing, and after holding a public hearing, they recommended approval of the annexation of the property into the boundaries of the district. They did this under resolution number 2024-5. Once the Fire Protection District on May 16th approved the annexation, they sent it to the Board of County Commissioners. Clerk of the Board then, as well as the Fire Protection District, advertised this hearing in front of the Board of County Commissioners today. The purpose of this public hearing is for the public to present testimony on whether or not this 62.58 acres should be annexed into the boundaries of the Fire Protection District, consistent with the decision of the Fire Protection District Board number 13. I don't have any additional comments. I did prepare a resolution for the board to take action on subsequent to the receipt of public testimony and consideration of the information which is part of your packet. Unless the board has some questions, that's my presentation.
Any questions for Mr. Maceo? No? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you. All right, well, this is a public hearing item, and we do have one individual who signed up ahead of time, Rich Peplinski. All right, Mr. Peplinski, please state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
My name is Rich Peplinski. My address is 22156 East Morris. I'm here to speak about the said property we're talking about. We just recently built a new home there, and after talking with the insurance people, found out that our property wasn't in the fire district. And how and why, we don't know, but we're in favor of having you folks bring us in. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. If there's anybody else wishing to testify, please come forward. Anyone joining us virtually, if you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. If you're joining us by phone, please press *9. Oh, we have someone here. I believe that is Robin Harbin.
Yes, I'm Robin Harbin. I am calling from District 13 at 9324 North Star Road in Newman Lake. I'm just here to answer any questions if the board has any questions in regards to Resolution 2024-5 or the decision to go ahead with this annexation by our Board of Commissioners at Fire District 13.
I think we'd just ask if there's anything you would like us to know, any additional information, we'd appreciate it.
No additional information. It just looks like a positive thing to have this property annexed into the district.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, if there's anybody else wishing to testify, if there's anyone online, second call, third and final call for anybody wishing to testify. Seeing nobody else online, nobody in the chambers wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Mr. Vice Chair, I would, after reviewing the record and considering public testimony, I would move to approve the annexation of Spokane County Assessor Parcel Number 56255.9093, consisting of approximately 62.58 acres, into Spokane County Fire Protection District Number 13, consistent with the recommendation of the Fire District in its resolution number 2024-5.
I will second the motion. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, that brings us up to item number 4B, which is another public hearing item. This is to establish, consider the establishment of Long Court and Manifold Road in short plat SP 1642-19, County Engineer Road File number 2507 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. We have Matt Zarakor for a presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate your time. This is the first of 6 establishments and 6 associated public hearings we'll have. This first one you can see on the overhead is at the southeastern fringe of the city of Spokane Valley, as are the majority of these. This first one you can see is a bit of an infill short plat. There's 2 segments of road shown in red, one manifold road and one long court. These roads have been built and certified in accordance with Spokane County standards, and it's the recommendation of our office that we establish these roadways for perpetual maintenance. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Matt? All right, thank you. So this is a public hearing item as stated, so anybody wishing to testify on public hearing item number 4B, please come forward. Or if you're joining us online, again, if you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. By telephone, please press *9. Second call. Third and final call for anybody wishing to testify. Seeing nobody wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer and considering the establishment of Long Court and Manifold Road and Short Plat SP 1642-19, County Road, or County Engineers Road File number 2507 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to another public hearing item, item number 4C. This is to consider the establishment of 40th Avenue, Clinton Road, and 35th Avenue in the Platte Elk Meadows Estates County Engineer Road File number 5170 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. And back to Matt for another presentation.
Thank you again, Commissioner. You can see the vicinity map. This one's in a very similar area south of Spokane Valley. And you can see the roads of this plat. Most of them are private. That's kind of been an initiative by our office to not excessively increase the number of public roads out there in the world, because we have a lot of road to work with, as you all already know. But the roads being public in this one, just to provide general circulation and public connectivity, are Clinton Road, 35th Avenue, and 40th Avenue at the bottom. You can see Highway 27 along the east side of this project. And these roads were all built and certified in accordance with our Spokane County standards, and it's the recommendation of our office that we establish them for public maintenance. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Matt? Seeing none, okay. Oh, Commissioner Jordan.
Just curious, Matt, in a situation like that, how does the public know that it's a public road clearly?
You know, to be frank, Commissioner, they don't. You know, they will look like public roads. They'll feel like public roads unless they gate them off. And generally, they're open and the public uses them to their discretion. So it is interesting. The maintenance is, there's pros and cons. You know, if they're public, we take care of them. We'll do the snow removal and the maintenance and replace them when they need replacing, assuming we can afford it. And if they're private, that's all funded privately. They'll have an HOA that'll maintain the storm drainage and the roadways and replace them when they're needed. And they can do winter operations to their heart's content. They can plow earlier and more often if they desire to pay for that service. And similar, they can decide when the road needs improvements and surface treatments and the like.
But in this case, you think the circulation need is a benefit to the public?
In our opinion, there's a need to keep a certain amount of public road connectivity. This provides kind of a trunk north-south and east-west that'll allow for future connections. It doesn't show on this map, but at the very southwest corner, that 40th Avenue actually has a right-of-way that kind of meanders off and stubs into the undeveloped parcel to the south. So upon future platting, that 40th Avenue will continue to the west, and it connects in over by Horizon, if you're familiar with Horizon Middle School over there. So just providing some overall circulation that is always going to be open to the public is important, and we focus on that. But having every single road public provides a pretty significant burden on both our maintenance staff and long-term preservation.
All right, thank you. Okay, so this is a public hearing item, so if there's anybody wishing to testify on public hearing item number 4C, please come forward. And again, if you're joining us online, if you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function or *9 if you're on the phone. Second call, third and final call. Seeing no one else wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer in considering the establishment of 40th Avenue, Clinton Road, and 35th Avenue in the plat Elk Meadows Estates, County Engineers Road File number 5170 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? Questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to public hearing item number 4D. This is to consider the establishment of Apollo Road in the short plat SP-1677 and Apollo and Daystar Road in the plat of Morningside Heights, 7th edition, County Engineer Road File number 2507 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Matt, take it away.
Thank you again, Commissioner. This is our third establishment for today. And you can see this is, again, an infill portion of an existing plat. The roads outlined in red, Daystar and Apollo. And you can also see the other portion of Apollo is in a separate project. It's a short plat that's south of Chapman Road. So two distinct projects, but the roadways all are contiguous, so we're doing them all as part of one establishment. These roads, again, have been built and certified in accordance with our standards, and it is the recommendation of our office that we approve these and establish them for perpetual maintenance by the county.
Any questions for Matt? No? Okay, well, this is a public hearing item, so anybody wishing to testify on public hearing item number 4D, please come forward. Second call. Again, if you're online, raise hand on Zoom, *9 if you're on the phone. Third and final call. Seeing no one else wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer and consider the establishment of Apollo Road and the short plat SP-1677 and Apollo Road and Daystar Road and the plat Morningside Heights, 7th edition, County Engineers Road File number 2507 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any final comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, that brings us to item number 4E, which is another public hearing, and this is to consider the establishment of Girard Street, Coleman Street, 13th Avenue, Beverly Avenue, and Lily Court in the plats Taylor Cottages Phase 2, 3, and 4, and Parkview Hills Phase 1, County Engineer Road File number 2364 for Spokane County Public Works Department. Toss it back to you, Matt.
Thank you again. This one you can see is in a slightly different area. It's on South Park Road. You can see Park Road borders it along the east side, and 8th, which is kind of the major east-west, is just off the screen to the north. And this is, I believe it's 3 phases of Taylor Cottages and 1 of Parkview Hills Phase 1. So 2 different projects all in the same preliminary short plat. And the roads inside of it you can see in red that we're proposing establishment of. And those roads, again, were built and certified. We've done all the work, and well, actually they've done all the work and we checked it. And they were built appropriately, and it is, again, the recommendation of our office that we establish them for county maintenance. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none. Okay, this is a public hearing item. So again, anyone wishing to testify who's in the chambers, please come forward. If you're on Zoom, use the raise hand function. If you're on the phone, please press star 9. Second call for anybody wishing to testify. Third and final call. Seeing no one wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer in the consideration of establishment of Gerard Street, Coleman Street, 13th Avenue, Beverly Avenue, and Lily Court in the plats Taylor Cottages Phase 2, 3, and 4, and Parkview Hills Phase 1, County Engineers Road File Number 2364 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any final comments, questions? Seeing none.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Sorry. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So I just want to make sure that, Matt, this is a question for Matt Zarakor. This is one of those areas that is kind of a off the beaten path, shall I say, for the county. So just making sure that we either work out with a agreement with the city of Spokane Valley or the county to make sure that the snow plowing happens for that area.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. We will definitely take a look at that and make sure the districts are aware of the inclusion of this area and have a discussion with the valley. If there was an exchange that would be appropriate and expedient for both jurisdictions, we'll definitely take a look at that. Happy to do that.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to item number 4F, another public hearing item, and this is to consider the establishment of Seabiscuit Drive, Conklin Drive, Sonora Drive, and Vera Crest Drive in the plats Timber Lane Terrace, 4th, 5th, and 6th edition, County Engineer Road File number 04120 for Spokane County Public Works Department. One last one here, Matt. Or no, got another one after that.
One
Sorry.
after. Yeah, we're not quite
We're
done
almost
yet.
there, Matt.
Yeah, I appreciate the board's patience. We are catching up on our establishment, clearly. So a good exercise that'll get them into our logs and get us a little bit more property tax coming our way, or gas tax, rather. So you can see, again, we're in that same area of kind of the South Valley, the Ridgemont, Morning Crest area. And the roads being established are again in red. This is several phases, 4, I believe, of Timber Lane Terrace. And these roads, again, have been built and certified in accordance with our standards. And it is, again, the recommendation of our office that we establish them for perpetual maintenance. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Matt? Okay. Another public hearing item. So anybody wishing to testify, if you're in the chambers, please come forward. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. If you're on the phone, press star 9. Second call for anybody wishing to testify. Third and final call. Seeing no one wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing. And I'll look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer in consideration of the establishment of Seabiscuit Drive, Conklin Drive, Sonora Drive, and Vera Crest Drive in the plats Timber Lane, Terrace 4 and 5th and 6th edition, County Engineers Road File number 04120 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any final comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, that brings us to the final public hearing today, in honor of Seabiscuit on the last one, and down the stretch they come here. In this final one, to consider the establishment of 11th Avenue, Hodges Street, 15th Avenue, Kayla Road, 13th Avenue, Cavalier Street, Ellie Mae Avenue, Colonial Drive, Myers Court, and Myers Road in the plat Twin Bridges 5th, 6th, and 7th edition, County Engineer Road File number 300 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Go get them, Matt.
All
Bring it
right.
home.
Thank you again, Commissioner. Last but not least, And again, you can see the roads shown in red there being proposed for establishment, and save the longest list of road names for last. And these roads, again, were built and certified in accordance with our standards, and we would again recommend that we establish these roads for county maintenance. And happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right. Okay, so anybody wishing to testify on this final public hearing item of the day, item 4G, if you're in the chambers, please come forward. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're on the phone, please press *9. Second call. Third and final call. Seeing nobody wishing to testify, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I would move that we accept the recommendation of the county road engineer in the establishment of 11th Avenue, Hodges Street, 15th Avenue, Kayla Road, 13th Avenue, Cavalier Street, Ellie Mae Avenue, Colonial Drive, Myers Court, and Myers Road, and the plat Twin Bridges 5th, 6th, and 7th edition, County Engineers Road File Number 300-0 for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Well, that completes our written agenda for the day. I believe we have 2, possibly 3 executive sessions. So I'll pass it down to yes, Commissioners CUNY and Jordan, do we have your permission to use your stamp?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll throw it down to CEO Scott Simmons and our legal counsel to tee us up for any executive sessions we have.
Thanks, Commissioner. I have one executive session for the acquisition, lease of real estate under RCW 4230.110(1)B. That'll be the commissioners, Chris Anderson, myself, Kyle Tuig, and Matt Zarakor. That'll be 15 minutes, no action expected. Oh, and Lindsay Chapman. My apologies. And Matt Koza. I think that's a final amendment.
Okay.
And I have 2 matters for executive session under pending potential litigation pursuant to RCW 4230.110(1)I. The first matter will involve the board, myself, CEO Scott Simmons, Kyle Tuig, Matt Zarakor, Ben Bradabo, and Matt Koza. Should take, I believe, 15 minutes. No action from the board. The second matter will involve the board, myself, Scott Simmons, and Heather Arnold, and should take approximately 10 minutes. Also no action from the board.
Okay, we'll be in executive session for 40 minutes. It is 2:45 on the dot right now, so we'll give a couple of minutes for our guests to clear the room. Then we'll again be in executive session for 40 minutes. At the conclusion of those 40 minutes, we will be adjourned for the day. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of the week.